first off, the watch.
Yo, what's good guys, Remar coming through to you from the Nintendo Network. And yes, I know it's been a long ass time, but that's genuinely not my fault. It's really not my fault, because for like a month straight there's been nothing to upload a video about regarding Rell. Like, we got no news. But finally that's come to an end, because last night some major news was dropped. But before I do truly get into it, I just want to say much love for all the support, because whilst I was away on holiday we gained like near 200 subscribers with me uploading one video. So I was like, wow, that's a lot. But I also want to say, if you want to support me more, I really appreciate a like, a sub, a comment. I've got a Discord in the description, you can join through there. And is there a point with me promoting my Twitch? I don't stream. Maybe I'll start streaming, but yeah, Twitch in the description. Okay, so if you weren't aware, or you're not in the Rell Games Discord server, which you should be, anyone who's interested in Rell you should be in the Rell Games Discord server, because that's where all the news comes from. But last night we got a ping, and it had a bunch of shit in it. It was a ping in the Rell channel, and it was a bunch of sneaks. So now these sneaks mostly revolved around mounts, and I'm not gonna lie, these mounts look really nice. These mounts actually look really nice. And trust me, when I say a bunch of sneaks, I truly mean it, because this shit was so varied. We got so many new sneaks. And it wasn't just based on one thing. It wasn't just one topic of Rell. We got shit about mounts, we got shit about bosses, we got stuff about movie 3, which was so out of nowhere. I don't know, I was not expecting that at all. I really wasn't expecting to hear about movie 3 until like two months from now. But it's a lot. It really is a lot. But to start things off, we're going to talk about the mounts, because this is probably what caught my eye the most, other than movie 3. And they look really nice. We got to give Skitty a round of applause, because he did an amazing job on these. But yeah, I'm going to play you the video that came with all the sneaks inside of it, because wow, there's a lot to go over. But yeah, here, enjoy. Okay, and so the first one we see in the sneak is the frog mount, and I told you these look really nice. These sneaks look really nice, and this one actually caught my attention a lot, because if you look over it, you can see that it can jump and it seems to be standing up, but also it can swim. So I think this is confirmed that hybrid mounts are in the game, where it can either be a ground mount and a swimming mount, or like a ground mount and a flying mount, because we know that flying mounts are still in the game. But other than that info, I think the mount just looks really nice. It's a really nice looking mount, and the animations for it are really nice. When the frog jumps up and you grab the hat, that's something that I really liked. Okay, and now on to the next one. I think that this one is my favorite one, and it's the whale. And it's because this mount has shown that there's 2-player mounts in the game. There's mounts that can hold more than one person, and this is something that I actually thought wasn't going to be in the game, because it's like they said how they wanted a big emphasis on ships. And I feel like if you're playing with just two people, a mount it seems like a very valid option to pick up for a ship. I mean, of course you lose a lot of customization, you lose a lot of attacking methods with the cannons and stuff like that, but it's just like, wow, it's such a cool thing to me. Because also this mount is free. Well, it's not free, you have to buy gold, but everyone can get this mount. It's going to be different to the way you obtain mounts in the actual game. But yeah, this mount is for those people that buy gold, and it will be given to those who have gold when the game actually comes out. I don't know about CC, I don't know about early access, but it will be given to people who have gold. So that's another reason why you should get gold, because this mount just looks really nice. Okay, and so now on to the next one. We have it's a rooster or a chicken or some sort of bird. It's some sort of bird. It's a chicken or a rooster, one of them two. I don't know about animals like that. But essentially it looks really cool. It looks really cool. This one we get a bit less on, because all we see is the walking animation. There's no running animation, there's no jumping animation or anything like that. It's still good. I don't say that it's like not good enough for the video or whatever. It's still really good, but it has less to it. It still looks really nice. But if I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't pick this mount over the other ones that have been shown, because the ones that have been shown, they blew my expectations out of the water, I'll be real. Okay, and so now onto another water mount, and I think this one might actually be the coolest one if we're going off just design, because it's a fucking kraken. You can get a kraken mount in the game, and this one we actually do get a idle animation for it. We get a swimming animation at like regular speed, and then we get a fast swimming animation. So this one has a lot to it once again, and yeah, it just looks really nice. Now this is probably one of the water mounts that I'd use personally if I'm on my own. If I'm with another player, I'll probably use the whale mount again, but man, these mounts look really nice. And then now we're back with another water mount, and this one's a shark. So now this one actually looks really cool once again, and it's also just got one like animation. It's the regular swimming animation, and yeah, it looks really cool. But once again, if I'm being honest, I probably still pick the octopus, or well, the kraken one and the whale one over it. But yeah, it still looks really nice. And now finally we have the tarantula, and funny story about this. On the same day that this came out, I was in sub chat talking about how much I hate fucking spiders and how they're like my biggest fear. And then I'm watching, as this sneak gets announced, I'm watching it in full screen, and the fucking spider pops up on my screen. But anyways, this one looks really cool. This one actually looks really nice. This is also the only mount that we saw outside of the this trailer. We saw it once again in another sneak, which came like right after this, and it's the death animation for the spider. But yeah, this mount comes with more than one animation in the sneak. It has the idle, it has the running. I think that's it. Okay, so now going back on what I mentioned about the spider mount having a death animation. So this is giving me a bit of insight into a few things. These aren't 100%, these are just speculation. But the first thing that I thought was, okay, this is going to be a boss. This is going to be a boss in the game where it's going to have a low chance or a drop rate where if you beat it and you're lucky, you'll get the mount. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel part of me is like, okay, yeah, cool, this makes sense. This is how it's done in games for like, it's been done like this for ages. Since World of Warcraft, there was a fucking creation, but we don't talk about that game. So now the reason why I'm a bit iffy on this is because mounts are going to be, I think it's obvious that mounts are going to be a pretty big thing in the game. They're going to be rare, they're going to be sought after, and having them so that it's from a boss drop, man, that's going to be a lot of grinding. That's going to be a lot of repetitive grinding. And for example, look at GPO. That's a prime example of grinding for items with like low drop rates. In that game, there's 0.5% drop rates, there's like 0.1% drop rates, and it's not fun. It's not fun to grind after that shit constantly. However, part of me is happy because I feel like having boss drops like our mounts, it removes that aspect of having to pay for them. Because no one likes a game where you have to pay for something that's pretty big, especially when it comes to transportation and movement. Like for example, look at Devils of Creation. If you wanted a mount in that game, you have to spend like £10 or like 1,000 Robux, and no one's trying to do that. Also, another thing that I have speculation on is that your mounts can get damaged, so that if you're riding a mount and someone hits you with something, your mount can also take the damage that is being sent towards you. And I actually kind of would like this. I think this would fit well into the game, because then with that, it also means that like water mounts, they can take damage the same way ships can, and it also kind of levels out the playing field between mounts and ships. Okay, so now if you thought we were done going over the sneaks, we're really not, because we have boss sneaks. And if you are a gold or a silver supporter, I think bronze as well, you actually got to see this stuff a bit earlier, and it is boss sneaks with Gecko Moria. And I'm not gonna lie, these are such a big upgrade compared to what we had in Movie 2, because these look so much more fluid. They have much bigger like AoE shit, because I'm not gonna lie, in Movie 2, I feel like fighting, from what we saw then, fighting a boss with a group of people would have been so easy. But with these bosses, they have like massive like AoE, a lot of like they have a big hurt box, and their attacks are just much bigger in general. Also, I forgot to mention, there was a sneak before this that came out like a few seconds before the Gecko Moria one, and it's a monkey. It's a giant monkey. So I think we might have seen this before in Subsneak once again. I can't remember, but it looks really nice. It looks really fucking good. Like the movement is so fluid, the animations look so nice, and once again, its attack like AoE and shit is so much bigger. And I think once again, it just looks much harder to fight. It looks much harder to fight than the bosses that were in Movie 2. Also, I could be wrong, but I feel like they've made the bosses a bit bigger. Like from when we saw them last with the giants, these both feel much bigger than the way the giants looked. I could be wrong, it could just be me tripping, but these genuinely do look much bigger, and I'm all for it. And so now, once again, another thing that I completely forgot to mention, and it's the fact that we saw some shit about devil fruits. We saw a devil fruit move, and it was a smoke move. So now this is called White Snake. I believe that it's an ultimate. I could be wrong, but it just looks like one based on the range, how long it lasts for, and what it does. But it looks really nice. It looks really good, and I think this might be one of the better. It might be one of the better looking ults that we've seen for fruits. Of course, now me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the the massive cutscenes. I feel like it kind of slows down the pace of battle. But I'll just have to get into. I'll have to wait until I get into game to see it. But based off this and it not being like a massive cutscene, I really like this. I really like the way it looks. Okay, and so now moving on to the biggest thing that was announced and the most surprising thing that was announced, and it's the fact that movie 3 it's been revealed. It's been announced. So now we haven't got much news about it right now. Well, we got a small bit. We got a small paragraph, and it gave us a few details about it, and I'll read it out now. Okay, so from this paragraph, we've gathered that testing is starting very soon. It's starting this weekend, which is in like 3 days, and yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to see how it goes, and we also know that testing is going to determine how the release date is. So we're gonna find out about the release date depending on testing. However, it's important to mention that movie 3 does not guarantee the release date. They basically said how if testing goes well, we'll get a release date. If not, you're fucked. You're gonna have to wait a bit longer. But as for everything else that's gonna be in movie 3, it's going to be mostly just progression, I feel. I think it's mostly going to be progression. I don't think they'll show off fruits too much because they want to keep decent amount of stuff with fruits a secret and a surprise. Because they want it to be like, oh, when you get into the actual game, you'll see the fruits first time, and it will just make a better surprise. So now, as for progression, still, I'm not too sure what they'll show off. So now, I think they'll obviously show off stuff with haki progression. Actually, that's a maybe. That's a maybe. They might show off stuff with haki progression. That's a maybe. But stuff with basic level progression, the stuff with the classes with like navigation, thievery, cooking, fishing, that stuff I'm sure we'll see. And another thing that I saw a few other people mention is races, because we've seen nothing about races so far. The most we've seen is in the customization menu. When you first start out the game, you get to pick a race, and that's all we've seen. We do know that each of these races are going to have different buffs. They're going to have different things that will separate them and make them unique. And I hope these races have different type of progression where as you go on, you can get more stuff from your race. And that's practically all we know about movie 3 right now. As for when it's gonna drop, no clue genuinely. I don't think it's gonna drop for a very long time still, because once again they have to go through testing and see how it goes, and then we'll hear about a release date. But man, movie 3, I can't even give you guys like an estimate of when I think it's gonna drop, because it's probably gonna be wrong. It's not predictable right now. Okay, and so that basically concludes the video. That's everything you need to know about all the stuff that came out last night. I really appreciate everyone who made it to this point in the video. This video is a bit longer than it usually is, and I should be back now. I think from here on we're gonna see a lot more stuff about Rell, and that gives me a lot more stuff to talk about. So you'll probably see my face on your screen a lot more. But once again, thank you to everyone who made it through to the video. I really appreciate a like, a sub, a comment, and I hope you have a good day. I'll see you in a bit.